Welcome to 3DA's walkthrough of Jones Park Disc Golf Course in Holly Springs, North Carolina. Let's get right over to Whit to start us off at hole 1. Take it away, Whit.
Alright, here we are at hole 1. It's 333 feet, par 3. Honestly, for me, I'm just going to throw something that's going to be slightly understable and try to finish kind of out to the right of those rocks. OB is that fenced-in area and road and beyond. Here we are at hole 1A. This is 417 feet, par 3. OB is going to be to the left beyond the fence and to the right beyond the road. For me, I'm not going to get there in 2 to be able to have a birdie look, so I'm just trying to pump something out on hyzer to leave me with an easy approach. Here we are at hole 1B. It is 367 feet, par 3. The road and beyond is going to be OB, so you're going to want to make sure that you pump something out on hyzer to finish roughly close to the basket so it'll give you a bid for birdie. Here we are at hole 2. It's 625 feet, par 4. Honestly, this is a very birdieable hole. You're going to want to make sure that you throw something as far as you can down the fairway to bite off as much distance as possible to leave you with a simple approach shot. You can go forehand, you can go backhand. You just want to make sure you don't end up in the woods to the right or the left. Now we head into hole 3, which is 337 feet, par 3. Slightly uphill, and there's 2 big trees in the middle of the fairway that can make it really difficult. This hole is averaging over par when you're playing from the longs and slightly under par if you're playing from the shorts. I'm going to go forehand either way and just try to keep it in the middle of the fairway to give me an easy approach up. Now we head into hole 4, which is 365 feet, par 3. It's slightly downhill with a creek that's directly in the middle. You want to make sure that you're clearing the creek, but also staying in the middle of the fairway, because the green is heavily guarded. It's going to start going uphill slightly, so you want to make sure that your approach gets as close to the basket because you could have trees in your way.
Hole 5 at Jones Park is a par 3, 318 feet. Off the blue tee, you don't want to hit any early trees because the walking path and earlier is out of bounds. White pad is located off to the right and sets up really nice for a righty flex forehand. The green is obstructed with quite a few trees, so watch out for that. Moving on to hole 6, it's a par 3, 331 feet. Pretty tight tunnel off the tee. If you're throwing a backhand, a kind of turnover shot. If you're throwing the forehand, it throws really nice, just nice and straight and letting it fade off to the right. The white pad is located just off to the left. You can grab a putter, grip it, and rip it right down the middle. Hole 7 at Jones Park is a par 3, 254 feet. There is out of bounds to the right beyond the fence and property line. The basket is set off to the left just in the woods. You don't want to land your disc in those woods too early because the putt will look like a nightmare. Hole 8 at Jones Park is a par 3, 246 feet. It is a tight little tunnel. You don't want to let your disc go too high because those trees tighten up real quick up high. Pipe it right down this middle and you'll be going to a pretty unobstructed green. Throw in your birdie shot. Alrighty, fam, it's our first water hole. Hole 9 at Jones Park is a par 3, 337 feet. Off the blue tee, you're going to want to carry the water here. Get out of that little tunnel at the end, and you'll be right at the basket. There is a white tee off to the right. Pond obviously plays out of bounds. Hole 10 at Jones Park, par 4, 555 feet. We do have a mandatory left of this light pole at the ball field. The ball field will play out of bounds, as well as the pond to the left. Throw just past the mandatory and leave yourself a nice easy upshot to an unobstructed green. Just don't go too far, because past the fence into the school is out of bounds.
Hole 11 is a 311-foot par 3. The water applies pressure from the left, penalizing any uncommitted shots from a right-hand backhand perspective. The trees bordering the fairway create a narrow gap, not catering well to a flex play, so a hyzer flip putter or mid is an effective approach to the hole. There is some bailout room to the right, but be aware of the out of bounds on the top side of the hill. Hole 14 is a 340-foot par 3 and is another hole that averages above par for all divisions. Those of you with good forehands will find the most success in achieving the birdie, as it sets up well for a committed forehand shot. As a primary backhand player, the biggest mistake is throwing something understable but too flat and getting caught up on the right. My strategy is throwing a neutral mid-range flat, landing just before the DoubleTree, and getting up and down from there. Hole 14A is a relatively new addition to the course, but provides you with a good chance at a late round birdie, as it comes in at only 201 feet. The camera path is what I believe to be the best window to the pin. Throw something that will pierce the gap and have a late fade to the pin. This hole is really all about finding any window you can to find an open putting lane to the basket. Hole 15 is a 294-foot par 3 and is the appetizer to the hardest stretch of the course. There's a sneaky gap to the right over the OB walking path that is accessed with a force over backhand mid-range that I have found success with in the past, but it does bring OB into play. Most will go forehand or hyzer flip backhand to get down to the pin. Don't fret too much with getting a par, as hole 15 comes in averaging over par for all divisions. Hole 16 is the beginning of the gauntlet section of the course. We did a Facebook poll and 83% of the votes said that hole 16 was the most challenging hole on the course. Off the tee, I like to find the landing zone shown in red. The key is to clear these two big trees in the middle to make your approach simple. Keep your approach low, as OB is at the walking path behind. Slide the disc right up to the small knoll and take your hard-earned par, as well as a stroke on the field. Hole 17 is a 385-foot par 3 and has its own set of unique challenges, as it averages well over par for all divisions. A par will gain strokes, but the coveted birdie could really move you up the leaderboard. The elevated tee pad helps with taking a chunk off the 385 feet, but the initial gap requires precision as it narrows to under 20 feet in width. You'll find a host of guardian trees near the basket. Take advantage of the more open right side of the green to make getting up and down easy. And finally, we have hole 18, which is a 349-foot par 3, and like both holes 16 and 17, averages over par for the whole field. A big forehand will provide the best strategy to get the birdie, as the basket is located at the end of a gradual move right. My play is a neutral to understable mid-range or fairway driver to push this last tree in the middle. At the end of a long tournament, you'll want to keep your focus, because getting off of this fairway early immediately brings bogey into play. Thanks for checking out 3DA's walkthrough of Jones Park. Be sure to like and subscribe, and check us out on Instagram. Let us know what course we should cover next in the comments below, and as always, see you guys out on the course.